Hey guys, Pastor P here. Hope you're doing well on this first day of February 2026. So happy February and also happy Black History Month. Just want to spend a little bit of time with you today and on this absolutely gorgeous Southern California day. Hope that you're doing well wherever you are. I understand there was even ice and snow in Florida yesterday. And so just know that we're certainly thinking of you guys and praying that everyone's staying safe and sound. So just want to jump in, go ahead and get started with today. Today's passage reading is going to come from the book of Micah, prophet Micah. In Micah chapter 6, it proclaims in verse 8, it says, God has already made it plain how to live and what to do. What God is looking for in men and women is quite simple. Do what is fair and just to your neighbor. Be compassionate and loyal in your love. And don't take yourself too seriously. Take God seriously. It goes on to say in verse 9, attention, God calls out to the city. If you know what's good for you, you'll listen. So listen, all of you. This is serious business. I love that the prophet Micah is telling us about what God is looking for in each and every one of us. God is looking for us to do what is fair and just to our neighbor. God is looking for us to be compassionate and loyal in our love. And God is encouraging us to don't take yourself too seriously. Stop taking yourself too seriously and begin to take God seriously. So in this particular season, this passage is stirring on my heart because probably the more common translation that you've heard this passage is that God is calling us as believers to act justly, love mercy, and to stay humble before God. And this is a calling out to us, I believe, in this particular season of our lives when so much is going on. So much is going on in our world. So much is going on in our nation. Different things going on in families and communities. And we just want to take a look at, on this first Sunday of this month and in the month of February, at the concept of justice. And I had to look up because you know how I'm wired, I had to get a working definition for the word justice. And what I found is, so I Googled it and I got, the dictionary definitions, which sound almost like double speak because it just kept saying that justice means to be just. And so there was a little Google AI overview and it said, what is the true meaning of justice? And this is what I found. The true meaning of justice is about fair and impartial treatment, giving each person what they deserve, their due, balancing actions with merited rewards or punishment, and upholding moral and legal correctness, ensuring fairness, accountability, and the flourishing of all people within a society, often rooted in ethical principles and laws. It's a concept encompassing fairness, equity, accountability, and rectifying wrongs, whether through legal systems or ethical conduct. It's just a whole lot of words that speak about being just, being the way I looked at it, and the first thing that came to my mind when I think about worldly justice and the way in which history has written it, it just comes down to two words: just us. It's those who make rules and laws and mandates upon people that keeps other people in, they're controlling other people and coordinating those efforts. But it oftentimes doesn't look at the individual who's making the law or the rule or the decision to do certain things. And so it's the fairness is toward the person making those kind of mandates on other people, as opposed to the people who they're being made upon. And so that's just my take on it. And I share that because right now we're always challenged. I mean, it's been this way through history to look at how the world defines justice. And if you believe in God, which my hope is that you do, and that's why I'm here every Sunday, is to encourage you and to lift you up in that, and to be a part of helping to educate you with that. Today I'm going to look at God's justice, godly justice. And when I look at the world's justice, a lot of it's being, God's justice is played out in the heart of the one who believes, whereas worldly justice is played out in the streets, in the sheets, in the manipulation, in the coercion, in the workplace, in politics, in relationships, communities, nations. It's where there's this tit for tat. It always seems to come down to building walls and drawing lines and separating us and them, and that's how the world's justice feels like it operates oftentimes. But today, as we see in the prophet Micah's sharing, ours is about looking at justice that is rooted in God's character. Godly justice, which it says quite simple: to do what is fair and just to your neighbor, to be compassionate and loyal in your love, and to not take yourself too seriously, but to take God seriously. And I know I keep repeating that, but as I kept repeating that and was doing my research in preparation for this last week, I was quickened to realize that God's justice is rooted in God's character. It's centered on love, and it works out from there. I mean, as the book of Proverbs shares with us in Proverbs 29, that part of God's justice is to defend the weak, the poor, the oppressed. Part of God's justice is, in God's character, is to be restorative, to be transformative in your justice and how we encounter one another, how we deal with one another and the things that go on in our lives. God's justice is equitable, and God's justice is righteous. God's justice is respectful. And as I looked at these things and began to compare it to what we're seeing on the headlines, or now most everyone receives their news via social media or from news sources where you always have to question, is that the truth? Are those the facts, or is this channel the facts, or maybe that channel over there is really reporting it correctly? We don't know. So we're challenged to educate ourselves, to look at a variety of resources from a variety of different foundations, looking at them from different perspectives, and then making our own decisions about current events or the things that have taken place, or even things that have happened in our own life. Looking at the facts, put our opinions away, or try to put perceptions away, as difficult as that is, and to really just look at the truth and look at the facts. And as we do that, and if our desire is to approach each and every day through God's eyes, through God's perspective, through what we and who we believe in, there's a shift. There's a shift in looking at things as it just relates with a wall built in between us, and look at ways that we can build bridges toward one another. And so to look at the current events in God's character. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that make us angry. There are things that get us frustrated. There are things that are confusing. There are things that come from all those places. But if we're going to define it with and through God's character, we got to look at it from a different perspective. We got to look at it through the eyes of grace, through mercy, through what true defining for ourselves. What is true justice for ourselves? If we're made in the likeness and image of God, then God's justice should be our justice. Us to look at justice in that way. If it's rooted in God's character, it should be rooted in our character. To act out of love and act out of the fruit of the Spirit, joy and peace and and patience and self-control to share the same grace and mercy that we desire toward ourselves. We should do that toward others, or offer that toward others. And so as we enter into February, also introduces a new Lenten season, and as we head toward Easter, in many traditions, it's about taking those 40 days that lead up to Easter, preparing our hearts for that resurrection day. And so as we enter into this new month and new understandings of what's going on in us and around us, and you know, in 2026, we've been focused on looking from the inside out. And if we want our character to be as God's character, because trust and believe, the things that were going on here during this time when these things in the scriptures were written is a lot of the things that are still going on today. And so, but it rests with what we do with them. And so if we're going to get a baseline and establish a character that matches God's, we got to be about the same thing. Okay? And let justice be rooted in our character, and offer up a character that helps to restore people, that helps to transform people and communities and situations for the better, for the good of all, and to just be about that righteous work and working with respect, and not putting our heads in the sand and pretending none of this is going on, that's going on innocent or around us or in the news, but to look with eyes of godly justice, and which would help us determine our godly action in response to it. So today's thoughts or ponderings, I guess, as we're sharing them here today, is just about that. Like, where do you fall on that spectrum? Figuring out where you fall. Are there places where you need to do some work? Okay, between the spectrum of worldly justice to godly justice, where are you along that line? If our goal is to be as Christ for our generation, or be as Christ in our everyday lives, that's something we have to ponder. It's something that we have to consider, so that when things do happen, we can respond in a Christ-like way. We can respond in a way that builds up and doesn't tear down. So I guess if you get anything out of this message today, know that we're in a season where we need to pay attention to our actions and our words, and not pay attention to them to rein them back, but pay attention to when we do share them, when we do, bring forth something more than passive idle words, that we're doing it to build others up, to be a part of building bridges and not tearing each other down. Know today that I love you. I'm excited for this new season that we're in. I'm excited for the Lenten season that's forthcoming. Ash Wednesday is February 18th, and Easter Sunday falls on April 5th. And so I'm looking for that I'm looking toward to that season of preparation and spending this time with you each and every Sunday. So I hope you're doing well, and always look forward to hearing from you, and just have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay warm, those of you who are out there in chilly weather, and for those who are in sunshiny weather, get out in it. Get out in it. I love you. Have a great day. Bye now.